So, the Los Angeles Lucas, the team a whole lot of people were picking to win the Western Conference, just lost for the first time in franchise history as a 3-seed or higher in the first round in only 5 games by collapsing 3 straight times in the fourth quarter. Tonight, they lost the fourth quarter at home in a potential do-or-die closeout game. They lost the fourth quarter 22-16. They managed to score 16 freaking points in the fourth quarter. And you know what hit me? With about a minute left in what was turning into a 103-96 closeout win for the Timberwolves. You know what struck me? I had a revelation. I had a eureka moment in my man cave as I watched it. The clock ticked down on 103-96. I thought, you know what the Lakers should do? They should trade for Anthony Davis. You know what they should do? They should offer Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis. Maybe they could offer Luka and Maxi Kleber, his buddy from Dallas. They could go to Dallas. And maybe the Mavericks would throw in Max Christie because he's just what the Lakers need. He's a 3-and-D kid. He's only 23. Just coming into his own. He'll really lock you up, lock you down on the perimeter. Can really stroke the 3. Really athletic. I really like that kid. So that's just what the Lakers need. They need to trade for Anthony Davis, because if they had Anthony Davis, they would have won this series. I said it. I first guessed it. I'm going to second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth guess it. This was not the worst trade in the history of basketball, unless you want to flip it around and say it was a bad trade for the Lakers. Did you watch what happened in the last 3 games to Luka Doncic on defense? The Timberwolves were laughing at him. They were hunting him. They were abusing him. They were making him look like a clown on defense because he is clownish on defense. And when we get to clutch, we realize that LeBron James, not born with the clutch gene, just came up stunningly, shockingly, preposterously unclutch in fourth quarter after fourth quarter after fourth quarter. LeBron James just went over 3 straight games of fourth quarters, 3 straight losses. He went 25 straight minutes without even scoring a point. So it was supposed to be Luka taking over, taking you home for the 40-year-old LeBron, still having the greatest 40-year-old year ever. And Luka tonight was pretty horrible. I know he wrenched his back, tweaked it. He was fine in the second half. He's just not in very good shape. He doesn't have great stamina. And when people can defend him, like Jaden McDaniels and Anthony Edwards, superior, long athletes, I'm sorry. He just looks average to me. Highly skilled, genius. We get all that. But tonight, when they needed him most in the closeout game, he just looked lifeless to me. He managed 28 points because he had 12 out of 15 free throws. But I kept warning you, Laker Nation, when it's time, he's going to go cold from 3. And he was 2 of 8 from 3 because he's a 35% career 3-point shooter. He's a liability shooting threes. He shot the Dallas Mavericks right in the heart after he carried them with a hot streak to the NBA Finals last year. He was just terrible in the NBA Finals, shot 24% from 3. I picked the Mavericks to upset Boston in the Finals, and he was horrible. That's who he is. That's who he is not. Anthony Davis is a dominating rim protector and shot blocker and an offensive juggernaut, a one-man juggernaut. I know he can come and go with his attack mode. But, man, when he is right, he's as right as any player in the league. There are many, many nights when I'm watching Anthony Davis where I have to say, that's the best player in the league, both ways, both ends of the floor. And tonight, J.J. Redick managed to turn Rudy Gobert into Anthony Davis right before your very eyes at the crypt out here in L.A. He did that because J.J. Redick is so arrogantly stubborn, so insufferably stubborn and thin-skinned. And I went to Duke and you didn't. I went to Vanderbilt. I'll take Vanderbilt over Duke any night, JJ. JJ's so above it all, so condescending to the media, such a front runner when the Lakers win. Like, I know what I'm doing. I know I've never coached before, but I know things nobody else out here knows except maybe LeBron. It's the way he treated the media for all those nights that they did win. And tonight, he announced before the freaking game, he told the TNT broadcast group, the team, I'm not going to play Jackson Hayes. You're not? Against Rudy Gobert? I know Rudy can be a klutz with the basketball. Drives me crazy. Fumbleina, fumble fingers, butterfingers. We get that. You turned that guy into Anthony Davis tonight because you refused to play Jackson Hayes 1 minute. No matter how the game evolved or devolved, no matter how Gobert was just manhandling you in the paint, my God, he went for 27 points, 24 rebounds, 9 of them offensive. It's the greatest playoff game he's ever played because he's way overrated. I know he's won 4 Defensive Players of the Year, and he blocked 2 shots tonight, and he altered several more. But the main damage he did was on offense because there's nobody to guard him. And all Jackson Hayes is 7 feet tall and pretty athletic and high energy. And he'll fight your ass off. He battles, man. I've always liked Jackson Hayes. I don't know what the problem is, unless there's something going on behind the scenes, unless he had some big tiff with JJ or challenged JJ or they got into it. I don't know. Unless he got doghouse tonight, unless he got punished tonight, unless he got disciplined tonight. How can you announce before a game that Rudy Gobert has the game of his life in and never swallow even one ounce of pride, just an ounce of pride, and say, you know what, I better go with Jackson Hayes? I tweeted, I first guessed this before the game. I tweeted, you have to play Jackson Hayes tonight for 20 minutes. 20 minutes. You just have to neutralize Rudy or make the T-Wolves take him out. Make Finch just take him out. Just because he's such a klutz. You know, you could force his hand. And Luka, because they share the same agent, seems to love playing with Jackson Hayes. I don't get it. He likes him as an alley-oop partner. That's what I don't understand. Apparently, LeBron, who coaches the team, just didn't like him. He's not the smartest guy in the world, but he tries so hard. And he would have fought tooth and nail tonight with Rudy Gobert and at least neutralized some of this. It's not like the Lakers were bringing in 3-point snipers off the bench. What did they shoot? 31%. And they lost to a Timberwolves team tonight just because of Rudy Gobert and just because of J.J. Redick's stubbornness and just because there's no Anthony Davis. The Timberwolves shot 7 of 47 from 3 and won by 7. What? 7 of 47, that's 14.9%, and won by 7 points. Anthony Edwards, Ant-Man, turned back into Cant-Man tonight. He went 0 of 11 from 3, and they lived to tell about it out here in L.A. in a closeout game. How do you do that? Well, you win the backboards 54-37, and you get 18 offensive rebounds, which gives you a whole lot more shots, and you get a whole bunch of 2-point bunnies because there's no rim protector. Jaden McDaniels said it after Game 3. He stood right there on the floor on live national TV and said, Oh, we're in attack. I'm paraphrasing, but he said we're in attack mode because they don't have a rim protector. Well, they don't because they don't even play Jackson Hayes. What did he play, like 8 minutes and 3 and 4 minutes in game 4 and 0 minutes in game 5? To me, that's a fireable offense. But J.J. Redick he's a genius. He knows basketball better than any media person ever, and he used to be a media person. He is so arrogant, so smug, so condescending. He said, watch this. I'll make it work with my small lineup. He started the same lineup that he played the entire second half the other day. He reached for Maxi Kleba, who hadn't even practiced with the team, had not played since January, a newcomer. He thrust him, the poor man, into this game, threw him right into the fire, and not Jackson Hayes? That's the ultimate insult. You got to cut bait with Jackson Hayes. You got to let him. You got to get him out of here. How could you do that to that kid? He's way better than that. That's just shameful. And Luka, it just, after a while, it gets compounded because not only are either Ant-Man or Julius Randle, who played huge tonight. Julius Randle was really good in the fourth quarter because he had 11 in the fourth quarter. Again, they only scored 20, so he scored half their points in the fourth quarter. Every time he looked up and had Luke on him, here he goes. Boom. He's going to lower his shoulder. He's going to bull to the basket. He outbulled LeBron 2 or 3 times tonight. That's one of the few humans playing basketball who can stand up to LeBron, and he stood up to him and he overpowered him 2 or 3 times tonight, and I was impressed. But Luke is such a liability on defense. So let me get this straight. You traded one of the best post defenders in all of basketball, Anthony Davis, for a liability on defense, and you thought you were going to be better? You'll be better at the box office. You'll be must-see TV. I'll give you that. But you weren't going to be better when it mattered. And I promise you, I'm going to stand by this. The Lakers would have beaten the T-Wolves if they'd played all their pieces. Dalton Knecht can play. He is a fearless shooter. He would have had a couple of runs in this series where he'd gotten hot from 3 because he is afraid of nothing and nobody, and he saw 0 minutes. You can't do that. He's better than that. Gabe Vincent, you got to run some plays for him because he is a gutsy, pardon my French, Rudy, big balls, Gabe Vincent, big-time finals, Eastern Conference Finals clutch shooter for the Miami Heat, and he just didn't get any shots. But you can feature him. Austin Reeves would have been much more comfortable in the 2 role. He was the closer for this team when LeBron was the man for this team. And this all brings me back to Mark Williams. I know there was the deal in place, speaking of Dalton Knecht, straight up for Mark Williams. I'm telling you, would they have played Mark Williams tonight? Because I don't think they would have, because Mark Williams he might be a tick better than Jackson Hayes, but not much. I've watched him a lot, and I don't love him. I got to tell you, he's not a life-changing game changer. He's tall, but so Jackson Hayes is a legit 7 feet tall. So I'm not buying that Mark Williams, if the trade had gone through, would have changed life. And I think the Lakers were ecstatic. It felt like they almost went out of their way to flunk Mark Williams because Luka had pushed for Mark Williams, yet Luka's as the agent also represents Jackson Hayes. I don't get that, Luka. Help me out. And I think LeBron didn't want Mark Williams, and they finally just pulled the plug on Mark Williams and kept Dalton Knecht. And I think they were ecstatic to have him. We'll use him. J.J. Redick looked like a rookie head coach who didn't know what he was doing and got desperate and got proud, over-proud, and stubborn. Pride goeth before the fall, as the Bible says, and it went before the fall. My God. And then poor LeBron James. You know, this is 3 straight years now on LeBron where he has no clutch gene in playoff fourth quarters. Go back 2 years ago, it's Denver. In the 4 combined fourth quarters, they lost all 4 games. And LeBron was was horrible in those games. He shot 1 of 10 from 3 combined in those 4 fourth quarters, and in the closeout game at home, he had 2 shots to tie in the last seconds and couldn't even hit the rim with either shot. He's not exactly Jordan-esque, is he? How can you even begin to argue he's the GOAT when he was pathetic in those 4 straight fourth quarters, and they lost all 4, and then we segue into the next year, which was last playoff run, and they have to play Denver again, this time in the first round. That was in the conference finals the year before. In game 1, LeBron pouts because he took so much criticism about his 4 fourth quarters as they got swept, and he wouldn't shoot until the game was completely out of control, out of hand. And then game 2, he had a wide open 3 and LeBricked it. Kobe would have made that shot. Jordan would have made it left-handed. And then this year, he goes 3 straight fourth quarters, and he has 25 straight minutes where he can't score a point. And finally tonight, with 3:08 left, I was happy for him, kept tweeting about it. He finally broke his 25-minute scoreless drought in the 3 fourth quarters of the last 3 games. He made a wide-open 3 from the corner on a cross-court, a skip pass from Luka. He finally made one. And then they gave him a bunny near the buzzer. They were down, 8 or whatever they were, and he made that. So he scored 5 points in the fourth. LeBron went 2 of 7 in the fourth and 1 of 4 from 3. God, that's horrible. Didn't get to the free throw line at all. Luka went 1 of 3 in the fourth quarter. He's just not in good shape. He has no stamina. 0 of 1 from 3, 1 of 2 from the free throw line. That's just horrible. Your 2 big guns that were so great together in the regular season, neither one of them can shoot. Neither one of them can shoot threes, and it reared its head and bit you right in the ass, Laker Nation. LeBron played 11 minutes of the fourth quarter tonight, and I'm sure people say, well, he ran out of gas. Luka really ran out of gas because he's just in awful shape. He eats poorly. It's why Dallas said no. He gets banged around. He gets banged up. No. If only the Lakers had Anthony Davis for this series, they would be advancing in this series. God. I first guessed it. I'm second guessing it. And I'll guess 50 guess it the rest of my life, because I was right. That was not the worst trade in the history of basketball for the Dallas Mavericks. I think it was a pretty bad one for the Los Angeles Lukas. Rest in peace, Lakers. 1-2-3 Cancun. 5 games, only 5 in the first round. God.